Well, hello, you are most welcome back to the Gmodism channel. This is your host Eric and we're here in From the Depth. So today we will be checking out a little interesting thing that I been thinking about for quite some time now. And that's how materials and ammunition really work in From the Depth. I have some theories that it was some time ago I tested them last, so I want to confirm they're still true. And then we have some things I'm a little bit unsure about. So I fixed the testing rig so that we will be able to test it out. And what we're going to try out is basically what affects the explosiveness of ammunition boxes on a vehicle. Because I always thought that the explosiveness on a vehicle was determined by the amount of firepower the vehicle has. I don't really know when this was the case, if this was the case, if it's a misconception, how many other people are believing it, and where it comes from. But that's something that people have been saying for a long time. That it's basically dependent on firepower. However, it seems it's actually not. So that's a big, well, that ain't great. Then we have another little thing, which is basically what happens when a material box gets killed. I always assumed that when you kill a material box, the proportion relative to material boxes left will be deleted off your system and you'll basically lose that. But I may be wrong. Maybe if you delete the material box, not anything else than the material box in particular will be killed. So if you have enough space, basically you have the materials left there. And this has some different implications. If we have too many material boxes then on a ship, it means that you are vulnerable to losing a lot of materials by being shot at. Some people tend to use the really big material box, the container, for some type of armor, because the container happens to have a lot of health, in particular 15,000. But if you have that as armor and people shoot at them, you may be very sad if it gets deleted. Yeah, so I thought we're gonna test that, and it also has some implications for armor and ammunition. So here we are, and I've carefully turned off the material giving functions, and I don't have any material storage other than these two, and no other vehicle in nearby can accidentally give materials to this platform. So I've been using this little chaff emitter because it uses material per second to kind of tune this material to be exactly kind of 500. And this is a separator, so we're gonna cut this thing off here. So we're gonna, we're gonna separate. Yeah, and we can see that we now have 264 materials there, because the materials in this box is of course still there. So then it comes to a little interesting question. Now it was cut off, but what if it was shot off, been with damage being removed? Maybe it's different. I think we'll need to try that. If we shoot off this block then, if we go back to avatar so we can have really calculated, if we shoot this in particular, no. Now we have 500 materials instead. That's real weird. So if we repair all, we got 600 materials. So this is a little bit weird. I wonder how this works then. So we're gonna tick this down a little bit then. So we are just below 500. Come on, can you, Rambot, respond? Thank you. So That's shot off there, okay. We now got 500 materials. If I add another box here, so I obviously have enough. We now have 2,000 materials, but, or the potential to, but we only have 400. So if we shoot this thing, we seem to lose a little bit of material, but that seemed to be instantly actually. And then we got it back basically. Now that's on a separator, maybe it's different. If I shoot this one, we get it back immediately. So it seems that if a storage box gets destroyed, you can get it back immediately. But if it's separated like this, it will kind of cut off dependent on how much it is. Now this is 1. And if we have like 3 here, this should, I guess, take like a quarter of it then. So it should take a little bit more than 100. And it seemed to do that too. So that's really interesting. So when you separate them like that, you'll remove a lot of materials. They're kind of divided up as equally as possible if you can't fill up everything. Right, so here we have a couple of boxes. They should theoretically contain like 400, like 100 and I don't know, 121 materials each. If we shoot one, that got restored. And if we repair this platform, it's completely restored here. But this material box costs exactly 2 materials. So theoretically, if we shoot this thing, we should be getting back the material, right? So we should have 484 instead of 486 we have now. But it's not quite the case. 240, yeah. So it's a little bit different there. If we shoot this one then, we seem to retain most of the material because we seem to pick it up. We can see we kind of reclaimed a couple of materials. So the material shot off from this box is being destroyed. But now we can reclaim like a couple of materials from our own ships. If we build this one again, we can of course pick that up. And when we play in adventure mode and stuff, we are picking up materials too, that we are being that we do lose from other types of blocks. So I would assume that we can pick up materials then when we're in fight 2. And as long as we have the ability to pick it up again, it would then, by any logic, be worth it to have more materials than more material boxes than we actually need. Because then we have some redundancy, and since we don't lose that much, but maybe it's proportional to how large they are too. That could happen. Like, here we have, now we have this many materials. And if we shoot this thing, I'm gonna turn on some debug tools here. If we destroy this block then, will it take with it any material? We reclaimed 103. So we reclaimed it all. 600, and I guess we're getting some materials for this box as well. It costs 115. So reasonably, we would lose the amount that was proportional in this box. So you can see we almost lost all of the resources, and then it ticked up because we picked up the resources, and then we picked up the resources from that box. So now we are actually increasing every time by the amount of the material container that it costs. So if we shoot this thing, kill it, yeah. You can see in the left, there is some pop-up menu there. So watch closely. So note the materials we have in the lower right corner is 834. Then note the upper left corner for the little pop-ups there. Reclaimed 400 materials there, and then we reclaimed a little bit there from. Gonna do that again. Reclaimed from our ships. Yeah. Bam. So we're reclaiming whatever was in it, and then we're reclaiming the cost of this one. It seems to as well, because that's why it's increasing every time we do this. Very interesting. Costing, it of course costs to build as well. Just to test what happens if we have a lot of like boxes like this. How did the pop-up change there a little bit? We're reclaiming it kind of instantly. And we end up with more than we started with too. So yeah, in this sense, I can't say there is any problem with having more than the storage you need. Good to know. Now it comes a little bit to the question about ammunition. So I have this little smart, simple structure platform, no storage engines or anything, which I think is pretty handy. This thing, obviously, we're gonna paint this so we can see it clearly. And we can paint this one here a little bit. So now we're basically going to go through and test some stuff with ammunition instead. So before I was really thinking that firepower was the deciding amount to how many, how bad the explosion from the ammunition is. So if we go here, you can see we got this thing. And this is a little bit, we're gonna begin with remove this, by the way. So here we have 2 ammo boxes. And here we have 1 ammo box and 1 material storage. So this one here, I guess we can fill them up. 1000 materials. And we can fill this one up too. Whoops, okay. So it's 1000 materials. So here we have 100 ammunition extractable per minute, and the explosive damage when destroyed is 4,700. Here we have 4,751. We got the same storage and the same amount of boxes here. So each of these boxes have the same explosiveness. So in conclusion, this platform has the double amount of explosiveness because they have 2 barrels. But for each barrel, the explosiveness is the same. Right, so if we add a lot of weapons here to increase the firepower, we're just gonna have an array of weapons that definitely don't have any materials in them. Now we can see this one has a firepower of 21. This is 0. So if we check these out, you can see that explosive damage when destroyed is 0. And that's, of course, we have no materials in here, so we're gonna fill them up. You can see this value is changing a little bit here. And this is a clue somebody told me about, that it might actually be based on the percentage of materials being refilled that decides the explosiveness for each ammo barrel. So this is now, yeah, that's pretty explosive. Actually, I think I want to use this here. Just to gauge how explosive is this. You can see that's the explosiveness. And for this one, with one of them, it's that. So you can see no chain reaction there. Now it's also possible though that this had less materials. Yeah, now we get kind of a more proper explosion. I think we'll need to go into the structural platforms here. We're gonna kill off some things that just sit on the ground. And we're gonna set up this thing to keep nothing. We're gonna set this one to keep, oh no, they're gonna share them. So if they both keep full, I guess they won't take from each other. Well, we have limited materials there. We got full materials here. If we just fill this thing up. We're gonna test this again just to see the explosiveness. There we have that explosiveness. And if we compare this to this one, it is a tad bit larger because they're of course serially exploding, two of them. Now they are both in the same limited area, so it's gonna be a limited spread, of course. Right. So here we can see the explosiveness is now less here because we have less material filled in. So theoretically, even though we have 2 ammo boxes here, if we get in there and just add a lot of cargoes without like increasing the materials on this thing, explosive damage when destroyed, 15. Oh, damn. So if we have that, it's gonna be this explosiveness. That's pretty interesting. However, if we're filling up this to the top, just oops, I'm too used to clicking those buttons, so I just click them all the time. I'll turn off this one. Right. This one has now a explosiveness of 4,751 at full capacity. So when these are actually full, they're always gonna be that explosiveness. So it seems to be dependent on material storage being full or not, and it doesn't matter how many we have. So when it was tested a little bit before, it was actually for the video where we're fixing the materials and fuel for the Yamato, and you might realize that the portion where we're putting the ammo boxes is kind of not missing. And that's because we kind of skipped that, because when I placed blocks down, saw the firepower, it didn't make any sense to me, and I was thinking, damn, it looks like what I've been thinking, that the explosiveness of each ammo barrel depends on the firepower, is not correct. So I was like, oh well, I guess we'll have to deal with this later then. So that's pretty interesting. It only matters. So I think the thing that was confusing to me was when I added more ammo barrels, the explosive actually went down. And that's of course because it was less full. Yeah, it was less full, and that's the reason why it was showing us a damage that was lower comparatively, because it didn't like fill up like this. So if we just remove some stuff here, let's see here if it's gonna pick all that up. No, just removed a lot of them, and you can reclaim some of that that are trying to tick up. So now the material storage filling amount is slowly ticking up. And now we're having like not even 10% of the full storage. So if we wait for this to tick up to 10%, let's see if it's 10% of the damage. Maybe it even scales evenly. Okay, it kind of didn't work, so we need to look fast here. No, damn it. We'll need to save all blocks but one. Then we have the proper amount. And if we wait for these to fall down, maybe they'll be a little bit out of reach, hopefully. And when we then repair this thing, yeah, no, god damn it, it's too quick. Maybe when the boxes disappear like that, we're gonna see. Now we're having full damage. Oh, I should not be accidentally filling them. That's a problem. Right. We're gonna repair all, okay? Did you see that? Now I don't know if I exactly caught that, but it really looks like it is kinda depends on that it does scale evenly. So now we're having, yeah, so that we can actually test this. We can actually test, or no. The explosiveness is kind of a very awkward, uneven number. 400,000. No, 4,751 doesn't feel like a very even number to me. I don't know about you, but maybe I just suck at math because I don't do that much anymore. Well, any case, this is the full damage. So having a lot more material than you need is probably wise. And just keeping them at whatever percentage is probably also wise. Because if we have that, if I add this so we can keep a certain percentage, we can actually test this by making it load over materials to this thing. I'm sorry, this might be the most boring empirical testing video ever. But I don't know, maybe... If you're still watching, I assume you think it's interesting, like I do. Most reasonably you would. This is the button we wanted to click before. Don't share materials energy with any other force. It's the I keep to my own business option. We're gonna set this big one to being a cargo, and it's gonna hold as much as it can. This is gonna be set as a... what happens if we set it to nothing and just... It won't share them, will it? No, it will just... Oh yeah, okay, good. Now this one is to half then. This is gonna be at half. Then this should be half the damage, right? Let's have a calculator. Alright, so 2751 divided by 2 is 2375.5. Which is... This is a little bit more than that. But now this has... Alright, let's see here. Is this exactly half though? Does it depend on ammo access? If I remove this, it should fill up, right? I may have set up some kind of system that may be working. This thing is now a last supply chain cargo vessel. This is a user set to keep at X amount of percent. So this will basically stick materials to what? Okay, never mind, it don't work. Oh yeah, it works. I just needed some more space there. Right, so this should be exactly half now. This should be made sure to be half. But you can see that it's not, it doesn't seem to be really linear. Almost linear, but not really. I'm just gonna add to a extremely exact amount. So we have like 500,000 materials exactly. And if we do this, I suppose, I'm gonna fill this up a little bit. Yeah, now it's gonna stay at exactly half. Now it's not gonna be any weird math. Huh. Now we have this explosiveness number, 2546. That times 2 is 5092. This one is obviously not representative. It would be a little bit interesting if we do like this. We're gonna build a new vehicle. And we have like only one ammo barrel on it. This will be filled up. Can you like... It's stealing our materials. We apparently need to set this up as well. We're gonna make you not share with anyone and keep full, just to make sure. Alright, now you have full. Okay, so here we have... Here we get a value of 4,751. So that's the same kind of value we had before then. This just is the de facto default setting. If we add another one here, yeah, I guess this is just how it works then. And if we fill it up, it's still gonna be that. It doesn't matter the sizes of the ammo boxes. Oh yeah, of course it does, because if we have a larger ammo box. So that's an interesting thing. Is this like scaling appropriately? If we take this, we can see that this one has a radius. So radius may also be something worth considering. We have 12 meter radius seems to be like the default. And if it's a bigger explosion, the radius is also higher. Supposedly, the amount of radius also increases when we have the ammo boxes side by side. I don't think there is a bonus of having them separately. But we're gonna test this too. We are gonna test this in detail, so if you are with me for these extremely detailed and nerdy tests, well, welcome to a very nerdy channel. So, if we divide 16,544 by 4, we get 4,136. So that's not the same amount. That's actually, you can see here, if we replace this here, whoops. Yeah, we're actually getting a bonus. The explosive damage is actually smaller if we have a bigger box. This box, in particular, each one is dealing less damage. It really looks like that. The radius is a little bit bigger, however, but compare like this. It's how large is the difference anyways? I think we should maybe calculate that too while we're at it. So if we just take that subtracted, we're basically having 615 extra explosiveness if we choose to divide them up like this. So then we'll need to test the 2-meter ammo barrels, since those seem to be the most popular ones I see used. And here we have a damage. So 8866 divided by 2, we have 4433 instead. And that's also, of course, better. So we're going to see what that means also. We take that subtracted to the explosiveness amount that we have in a single barrel. We get a 318 less explosiveness per barrel area. So that means having double barrels is twice as good. Barrels, yeah. Not double barrels as in gun, double barrels of ammo. Maybe we should look at this one too. Just make sure they are the same, and they are. Good to know. Wow, that's really interesting, I think at least. So then we kind of know that explosiveness is dependent on the sizes of the ammo boxes as well. Now, we're going to do a little test here. I think maybe we should turn... we can keep it on. We should have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And we're going to have a little explosion here. We are going to destroy one of these. And we have 25,700 explosive damage in the corner. All right. And if we compare this to a box like this one, I'm gonna make sure it's filled up, of course. 38,000 damage. Now, I just realized that we need to make sure they actually keep maximum materials. So it's most useful to probably have the type of detonation inside the kind of same area on different platforms. No, different platforms have different fill degrees. Yeah, that's right. All right, so I suppose we'll just run the test again. Make sure these are full. Can you like get full? Thank you. I like turned off sharing for it. And it just refuses to fill up to the top. It just wants to be 50 materials below. Oh god, that's the wrong one. This one. It refuses to be exactly at... Oh well. It's close enough, I suppose. So we're gonna do a detonation there. 26,000. It's very interesting. Because we also want to kind of 26,500. Gonna do like another one. 26,500. So I think that's like good enough results. Test 3 times. Okay, 26,500 compared to what exactly? 10,000 damage more. All right. So the added radius seems to indeed be a problem. Like honestly, you can see with these, the radius were actually smaller because the chain reaction, it's hardly noticeable. Or I'm not sure it is. We need to place them on the same origin block. So those were in the middle of a block like that, because otherwise the patterns will be different. So there and there. So looks to be very similar damage actually. But honestly, the singular barrel systems seem to do a little less damage. And if we have these one here, we have more damage. So yeah, interestingly enough, the singular barrel has a lower damage in general, it seems like. Now, these guys, oh man, that's why we can't fill up. They are, oh my god, that's stupid. They're of course eating materials. I set that up to make it a little bit easier. We're gonna make this burn up a lot of materials. So we have the luxury of setting this platform to be a cargo and this to be a user. So perhaps it can only use half storage space, something like that. And now we're gonna do the same test over here. Just gonna drag this over there a little bit. So now we're obviously at half rate. We can even refill it a little bit to make sure that it is exactly half, which it is now. Gonna detonate this thing. So we have 26,300 here at half material. So it seems to mitigate the damage dealt. You'll need to have a decent amount of empty storage. 16,000. Well, that's actually a big improvement. That's like, it's not half the damage, but it's 10k less. So we're just gonna see, what was that? 25,900 was this time. Let's look off the limits, and the exact filling rate is a little bit lower. And this thing is 31,000. And it's a little bit lower because we don't have full materials there. Now, what I just realized I haven't even thought about is, does this apply to fuel too? Fire created when destroyed. Fire created when destroyed. Yeah, it does. All right. So a fuel box of the double size. How much is that done? So it seems to be about half. Interesting, 20 intensity. The intensity seems to be same though. And this one, 2 if we add one here. And one there, we can get, yeah, very interesting. So this is more full. If we increase that, it also increases. So if we go down here and add a little fuel box here, we can see, oh, 2,000 seems to be the base amount. So if you have more fuel boxes than we actually need, we have of course more vulnerable places. But now you can see the damage dealt is like half. Okay, 1,000, still 1,000. So it doesn't matter if they are material boxes, if they are fuel boxes, or if they're ammo storages. It's just about the amount of materials that are free. Well, one thing what I want to see here too, the detonation area. 16-meter radius here. If we have a singular little ammo barrel instead, we have 11-meter radius for this amount of filling. This amount of filling we have, it's half. Let's make sure it's half. 10 meters, all right, it's smaller. And for this one, that's kind of maxed out in a bad way. We have 12.7 meter radius. So the radius of the explosion also scales with the size. One advantage with bigger material boxes like this is of course that you can see this has 150 health and this one has 600 because it's 4 times as large. Now it doesn't scale, so better. You don't get the health point bonus you get from structural blocks like this. That doesn't apply to system blocks, unfortunately, because that would be a good feature to actually make people use the bigger ones and reduce block count and stuff like that, but whatever. Maybe it's added sometime. But cool to know that the fuel also is scaled, which is very interesting. Right, so with that in mind, I will just confirm that the theory I had before is completely wrong. We're going to make this sit at, just gonna remove some stuff so we are at the right amount. And if I remove, or if I do like, can you like serial delete? No? What's wrong with you? Okay, thank you. No? Or, well, whatever. We're then gonna do like this. We're gonna look at that and just hold Control Z and see if stuff changes. Oh, in build mode, of course. Thank you. It does change, but that's because the limits change. If we fill that up, yeah, it's the same. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Now, it's possible, but that this is different for different weapon systems though. So 256 is the current amount. If we're just adding like some random game prefabs, we can just see if it still holds true or not. Gonna use them, of course. We're just going to overload that. Particle cannon, not that we can use that. We're gonna have all sorts of weapons. I think that may be enough. Maybe even a flamethrower. So maybe the one that has the potential to like affect it the most. Obviously, we'll need to fill up some materials so that we are at half rate. Unfortunately, one of them seemed to be coming with a included material storage somehow, which I'm not a fan of. But it seems to be the same here, both the radius and this one there. I wonder if this is true for the fuel too. I wonder if like flamethrowers can affect this. Fire when created. 999. Remove this. This probably has a fuel tank somewhere. Yeah, it does. Okay, that explains it. So it's not the... oh my god. I'm just gonna do like that. Remove this. No. We're gonna remove this fuel tanks on this thing. We can make sure we have the right amount of fuel access. And if we fill this up to half materials, yeah, it's not gonna change. The flamers doesn't change that either. So that's really good. Wonder if, I don't think it is, but maybe batteries are affected somehow too. So if you have a battery here, this one is full. Oh, never mind. I forgot. I thought that perhaps batteries were creating EMP when they get destroyed, but they don't. That was just a random idea I had. That's not the feature of the game. Maybe I should suggest it in the Discord, I don't know. But people tend to hate EMP, so maybe people would be very sad if I suggested that. Right, so far we can conclude, maybe we can pin this later if people that just want some results and don't want to see the entire process can access it. But the results so far are that the amount of percentage in storage decides the volatility of your ammo boxes and fuel boxes. So having a vehicle that has a lot of empty storage can be a good idea, because if you have it at half the storage amount, the fuel and the ammo boxes will be doing about half of that cost. To be specific, the fuel boxes, they are scaled exactly proportionally. So if you have a fuel box on a ship that is like half filled with material, it will create half of the fuel fire when destroyed, compared to a vehicle that has, well, per fuel box of course, compared to a vehicle that has full storage. So full tanks are very scary. It's better to have more tanks but less full. Good. And ammo is about the same. At full capacity, they'll deal 4,751 damage. And for the damage here, you can see that it is a little bit more than half, but it also has a smaller radius. So this is only 10 meters, and this one has a radius of 12 meters. And I suspect if we do a radial, like a area calculation based on pi with the circumference and stuff like that to guess that, I think this number smoothens out. I think it indeed is half of the effective damage, as we could probably test actually. All right, so here we have a singular little ammo box in the wild over there. Getting that detonated yields 17,100 damage. Got it. And if we do it on this one, it yields 10,100 damage. So not quite, but I guess it can depend a little bit on how stuff looks and all of that. The total amount of storage doesn't seem to matter at all though. And with the radius involved, I think we can conclude it's kind of half. As for using larger ammo storage boxes, you will be getting a lower damage, like a lower explosiveness, using bigger boxes. However, the radius will be higher, which is of course means that the damage will also scale with that. So the effective damage actually seems to be larger with bigger ammo boxes. So there doesn't seem to be an advantage of using bigger ammo boxes than you need if you have a vehicle that's very small. 37,000 there, and with half filling, let's see how much damage that does. 26,000. Not the best, most reliable test here, but to get some kind of gauge, it matters, but it doesn't remove damage. We just have to test this though. Look, now we have 10% materials in here. So if we destroy this, it's only 8,000 damage. So yeah, that seems to be a nice cheese tactic then. It's not that cheese, I mean, you'll have some trouble if your ammo boxes are being shot, of course. But honestly, like, if we do like this, you can see we're kind of reclaiming this pretty quickly. So, yeah. Like that, we're just keeping 10%. Or just picking it up, no problems. This one deals so little damage now, oh yeah. So, for a lot of future designs, having much more materials than we actually need, have the capacity, is probably something we're gonna use. This is definitely a tactic we're gonna have on the Yamato. Yeah. We're gonna do some interesting shenanigans here. So now we're gonna move over to like system volatility. So this one is gonna be rash. Beautiful. Beautiful art. And this one is gonna be at 50%. I think 50% might be a reasonable amount we can opt for in like, oh well, good enough. Look at my beautiful number 5. That's a big shin. Anyways, this is 100. This is a 50%. So we're gonna set that up to actually hold. Keep 50. Not that energy matters, but whatever. So we're gonna set that up indeed. This one, the 100%, we should be setting up as a user to keep 100%, definitely. So I'm setting up small testing boxes. Like this is a little 4x4 box like this, because for fuel engines, I mean resources here, a lot of people have both boxes like this, and they have them in like checkerboard pattern, same with ammo. And to use the same shape all over the board so we can get some better results, since there are some health block variants, some distance, like, what is it? Explosive radius and stuff differences for the different types. So I'm thinking we're gonna set up this test. This is a mimic, by the way. This is actually a stone block above there. And we're obviously going to have a little roofed section for this one as well, so that we can get a clear understanding on the damage. I'm just gonna make one for fuel and one for ammo, and we can just test it out. This is a very nerdy video. Do you like this, or do you... If you don't like this, you probably don't watch this. So yeah, if you enjoy this, tell me that in the comments anyways. That would be very helpful, because then I'll know. Then I'll know. I suspect this video will get less views than usual, of course. But if you really enjoyed this type of thorough testing, because I know some of you do, that would be very useful if you tell me in the comments, because I don't want to clutter people's feed if nobody is interested, you know? And with a video that likely is getting lower views, of course, it can be a little bit hard to know if people are interested or not. Right, so we're gonna have a little roof on this design as well, so they're equally tall. As for side blocks, I'm a little bit conflicted if we should add that, but I think we should. I think we should have that. But no, maybe not, maybe not. 1, 2. Let's see here, how many blocks are there in here anyways? It's like a good couple more. This is actually twice the amount of ammo in this section. So honestly, you know what? We're gonna... Are we? No? I know. We're gonna do like this. We're gonna have a equally sized box beside of it, but they're going to sit together. That would probably be showing us the most reasonable stats. Yeah, I think we're gonna do it like that. I think this will be as good as it gets. There and there, and these can just be regular blocks on top. Okay, good. I'm filling up these with fuel there. So just to confirm, you got fuel here, fuel there. Maybe, actually, what if the placement matters? Let's have them like that. And these are like that, these are like that, and these are like this. Good. So I provide a little detonation hole, as you may see here, where we can ignite / detonate the fuel or ammunition to get an understanding what the difference are. And then we're going to basically cycle through different materials. That is what we're going to do. So we're going to copy this and paste it on the 100 platform so we can compare. Yeah, we're doing some pretty detailed comparisons here. I'll give you that. Like that. And supposedly we can add some color too. Right, we're set up and ready to go. So there we have them, fuel tanks. We're gonna begin with stone. I added some signs just to simplify and collect the results. So I think we're gonna begin with ammunition. We're gonna detonate this one. We get a big ammo storage detonation for the 50% module. I checked them before, but I can turn on the view here for simplicity. Right. Then we'll need to do a little... Is this... No, that's not damaged. That's not damaged, that's fine. And if we compare to this one, we do want to have a repair there. 31,400. So that seems to be a little bit worse to me there. The destructiveness capability. 14,000 there. Now, we had a slightly lower material percentage, so the damage was slightly decreased. But to me, it looks like... Of course, the entire ammo box with stone like this does explode, even when we have a storage keeping of about 50%. If we, however, like repair this a couple of times and just destroy some stuff, making it not keep as much materials. 10,000. Oh yeah, that's interesting. So now you can see that we're a little bit lower on the material spectra, and now suddenly stone is actually protecting us pretty well there. How about this one then? That still goes up into boom. Very interesting indeed. Now this one is accidentally giving to us. That's not good. I think I want to set you 100 to stop sharing, so that you don't mess up our results. It's very interesting. So we don't have that much of a feeling right now. It's... yeah. Interesting to see. No chain reaction there. Now that's of course that damage type. If we have something like explosive, even if it's a very weak explosive, the damage will like transfer and detonate things. Let's see how big that explosion is. I mean, that's a significant explosion. Maybe like damage of that, lower HP. Still blows up. Stone to the side, no problem. If it gets inside, yeah. Explosive is also a bit boosted in tight spaces, they say, so there is that too. All right. How about switching to the death ray and test out this systems over here instead? 16,000. Big boom like this. And that was at... yeah, I forgot. I need to fill this up. All right. Now we have 41,000. That's more like it. Big explosion like this. Scary stuff. Make sure we're filled up. Detonate this one, 51,000. Like, less worse if you see in comparison, but 41 to 50, yeah, it's still like a big explosion. Oh god, that got plussed with the previous number. But it deals more damage, that's clear when we keep them together like this, 51,000. So, good to know. How about the fuel then? Now we'll need to make sure we're actually at 50%. So we're gonna start the fire here. And we're also gonna start the fire there. And we're gonna see how much of a problem it is. What? Okay. That's like super not dangerous. A little fire there, right? And okay, that's not much. And inside of here, it ticks up, but it gets immediately smothered. Why though? Shouldn't be that big of a deal that it's in tight space. But maybe... this one doesn't have the opportunity to even reach stone, so like here you can see the damage of the fire can be spread a little bit to the wood, but in this case it's just stone all around it. So I would then expect with half storage, if we have like just a simple little tray, we could call this, and have some fuel inside of here, it should deal so little damage. Like 500 damage. That's so little. Because obviously, like 500 damage, what can it kill? Can it kill a steam beam? No. Can it kill a wooden beam? No. So yeah. Anyways, let's check that. Oh yeah, okay. We were not quite at the percentage perhaps. But as long as it doesn't spread to a flammable block, it's very limited. Right, now let's go over to the 100% material platform. I'm gonna start some fires here. So there we are, of course, having the double amount of damage. We're having a fire of 4,000 potentially. And inside this little box here, I think it has a little bit more potential to maybe deal damage. No, it's actually just killed before it reaches anywhere. So fire is very unscary. Yeah, it's not a big of a problem, honestly. We just need some stone then. We're obviously gonna check with the other materials as well. Wood we don't need to check, to be honest. That just isn't the right material for either ammo or fuel, because it has so low AP resistance. Like, its armor class is sad, trademark sad, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So I think we should swap the damage boxes containing material with a little refit. If you don't know how to do a refit, it is not there, it is under V menu here. We're gonna switch stone to... what should we do? Maybe alloy, it's a pretty weak one. So refit. I do this one. Stone will be alloy. There we go. Right, so we're gonna begin with the 50% boxes. I think we can start with some fire. I don't think we expect much interesting other results than this here. Nope. Killed instantly. At half material, it's no biggie. Ammo storage, 26,000. Pretty big explosion there. And there we have 11,000, but now we had a little lower material holding bay, to be honest, that we didn't hold proper 50%. But it's like 12,000, so it's not much big of a deal. And this is like 39,000. Very nice. The damage varies, of course, a little bit dependent on where and how we shoot, how it's getting detonated, from where the damage propagates and stuff like that. And of course, the storage amount. But it's pretty similar to stone. It seems to not be a big difference. Goes back and forth a little bit there. Alloy seems perfectly able to defend well against like fuel when we have them in boxes that are not too huge. So let's move over to the 100% module. I guess we can start some fires first. See if this fire gets a little bit scary, or maybe it just doesn't matter. So this one has escaped a little bit, but it's... Nah, alloy is completely fine. And even for fire, so like the weird thing with alloy is that it has a flammability of 25%, but it seems that this flammability is so small that it still works fine for internal components defending it. Stone obviously is theoretically better. It also has a lower cost. Like one of these costs 2 materials and one of these alloys cost 5 materials. So it's like more than half the cost. But if you want to be light, it's no issue having alloy defending your fuel. All right then, let us make sure we are at 100%, and we're gonna detonate this thing. 18,000. This one then, wait for the number to go away. 41,000. Seems to be doing all right as well, compared to stone. Of course, the good thing with alloy is that alloy has better armor, so that defends against explosiveness, but they have a higher cost, but they're lighter, so there is that. So it's not like a big difference, but they have very similar health points there. So I guess technically stone should be a little bit better against fuel, and alloy would then be a little bit better against explosive stuff like this. And that's going to be apparent when we check out metal later on. But so far, I must say, alloy seems to be absolutely fine, at least full alloy blocks. And having like a lower health point block like this, of course, for alloy would probably be a very not smart idea. Because even here at like not even half filling, this is probably gonna go up in smoke, I thought to say. Oh no, I accidentally pulled this thing. All right. So we're gonna repair it. This is interesting. 11,000. So we're gonna have it at half. We'll need to compare a little bit about that later. That's insane. So we're just going to... No. I can't undo. Well done. And the storage, there we have it. That one there. Okay. 11,000, 12,000. What? It potentially is better to not use full blocks. Well, I guess we should run down the material list first. This is some pretty interesting discoveries that I didn't consider. Huh. Interesting. In any case, let's do a little refit here. There is nothing magic about alloy, so we can change that later. We're gonna change the alloy to metal instead. Metal would be pretty useful as this. There we have it. Metal for that. And metal for you. So, you are at half point. Good. So we're gonna start some fires. Obviously, we just do this to confirm nothing scary will be seen here. Both checkerboard and having them in closed boxes seem to work fine. The fire created by one of these doesn't actually seem to be enough to destroy any more blocks when enclosed like this. So that's pretty crazy. I thought they would kind of chain burn. In any case, here we have this thing, 24,000. And we got the checkerboard instead, 11,000. Obviously lower than the values we generally seen, because this one has a higher armor class. Pretty similar to some values we've seen before. Not too far away from alloy, obviously. Now that was a little bit half storage too, so there is that. Anyways, full storage. Metal with fuel boxes. Can't be very scary at all. I don't think we'll need to watch that anymore. Here we have a 37.4 thousand material explosion. So pretty big one there. Detonate this 17,000. But now you see it actually doesn't quite chain react there. So having metal might actually be enough to keep the ammo boxes in there. That's very interesting. So we're gonna fill this up again, make sure it's full, and detonate these guys. We're not having a serial explosion. This one, of course, it's gonna go boom. So separating your ammo boxes like that seems to pretty much be a good idea still. Well, I guess for the sake of testing, we should test heavy armor as well. But as you might understand, heavy armor, metal to heavy armor, will basically make these pretty invulnerable. They won't hurt at all. We can create some fire here, and this fire won't be enough to destroy a single heavy armor block. So yeah, even though the fire generated might be a little bit more than you've seen there, it's so little. This one, completely safe. If we kill this thing and kill this inside, you can see it still doesn't chain react there. Having full heavy armor blocks is not needed for ammo. If we have this type of block, however, you have too many ammo boxes in one space, but you can see it still didn't blow up to the other side here. So that's obviously a very good way. Or safe way. It's not a good way because it's so expensive. I would probably recommend against it. Now, reinforced wood is worse at everything and should generally not be used. But it won't perform terribly, I don't think. So you can see some more fire damage there. We'll need to fill up this, by the way. There it goes boom. This one goes boom as well. Don't use it, is what I'm trying to say. Right. I think we should just switch back here to reinforced wood to metal. So we're gonna do some tests with metal, I feel like. All right. So, checkerboard metal like this. Boxes in there, not a good idea. And obviously, to protect your fuel tanks, the best way is, of course, have them under the waterline. Because if you do that, we can like have a big bunch of fuel tanks here. And we can like create a fire. And it's fine because this fire is so tiny. But if we look at the fire tool, it's like, yeah, it's dead. The fuel is still there, but, you know, nothing more than that. Well, they can be down there. Don't do any harm. We're gonna show some detonation tests too. So we're gonna switch to heavy armor. Wait, what? All right. Oh, I'm out of material, that's why. All right. We're just gonna refill this thing here. Now we can do a refit, right? Wood to heavy armor. Unusual refit to make. Anyways, Here we have some detonation distances. This one is obviously the 50% holding. This one is the 100% holding. So we're gonna increase this so we have full storage. Really close. This one, chain reacts. That was 4 meters. 8 meters, chain reacts. And this is, of course, has a detonation radius of 15. So this is 12 meters. It still chain reacts. And this one is 18 meters. It doesn't chain react. And this one didn't even get hurt, which is a little bit strange. Maybe it wasn't exactly... Oh, that's 15. Okay, wait. So that's 18. 1, 2... so I should just check the distance area again. So we have like 8, 12, 15. Yeah, it's at 18. So if we set it at 15 exactly... Whoops, wrong block. There we go. Did it get damaged? No. And if we add it like 1 block closer, so at 14, you're gonna see how much damage it does. Just gonna have some materials. All right. Wrong block. Here. And it should have gotten some damage, right? It doesn't seem to have, which is interesting. This is like 15.3. Perhaps it even matters what like... this one is too close then. This one is a little bit further away. 1 block closer down, like that. Gonna be... Yeah, now it got damaged. You can see it got damaged, but it didn't chain react. So this is like the closest distance we can have them for 100% storage about then. Give or take. Depends on how large boxes we use. Now we use 2 meter, but you can use, of course, for the big boxes as well. Here at the 50% holding, we have another result, of course. This long range one, need the right tool, doesn't detonate. 12 meter, no. This is just 8 meters. It does detonate, interesting. Let's see there. Yeah. No. Yes. I do suspect, however, that this explosion will of course be weaker. So, what if we try and protect this thing with like one of these? It actually works, cool, at 50%. And if we do the same to this one, it probably won't work. Yeah, it's gonna hold up there and fire. It does work. That's cool. Applic has a lot of health points, but very little armor. No. That's the other way around. What am I saying? Applic panels has very little health points and a lot of armor. So it's pretty interesting it's able to defend. It's only 3% health. Wow, that is so close to getting destroyed. It is like 48% health. Okay, very interesting. One thing I've always wondered about Applic and explosions, will they defend if we like have them the wrong way? What do you think? Yeah, seem to be working the same. This one has not that much health left as they had last time too. Oh, works fine. Then is the question. I do think I remember these Applics costing as much as the full ones, right? So these should reasonably defend as well then, right? Wrong tool, 8. There we go. Yeah, they work fine too. Good to know. So we can get a bonus by just having a lot of empty material spaces. But it seems that it only gives you real big results when you go down to like 10% material, like really low. When you're at like higher rates, like 50%, it doesn't matter enough to make a big difference. Here, of course, we have a good example where we kind of meet the threshold. This one doesn't get very damaged, but the other one does. So the question is then, we'll need to see how close we can protect this at half percentage. You can protect one with a applique, okay. And you probably can't do that at this percentage, right? That wouldn't make any sense. Now this one is the same, so we might as well use that. No, you can't. But since there is not that much of a difference, what if we just put it one block further away? We should actually do the other way around, since explosions... Nope, can't do that. Just to confirm then. Having one of these here, repairing it. This works as well, right? No, wait. Oh, I had the other one on this side, of course. I'll need to remove this one. All right. Yeah, works fine. So if you have a lot of empty space, 50% is enough and you can keep your ammunition real close to each other. That begs the question, is 2 applique panels like this good enough? It's definitely good enough. If 2 meters separation with one isn't enough, then probably 3 meters separation is enough. No. However, just to make sure that the explosive power don't go anywhere, should perhaps protect the sides like this. I think it's only actually in the front direction where it matters in the case of the explosions. I don't think they're that complex that they're actually going around the target. All right. So here we are at 1, 2, 3, 4 meters like this, and that is then enough. So if you have applique panel surrounding a single 2-meter box, 4 meters is enough. Now then, I wonder, what if we have like the larger ammo boxes, 2x2s, like 1, 2, 3, 4, that just got to be too little, right? You know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. Of course, it chain reacts. But if you defend this one as well, no, it doesn't work. Since applique costs about, it costs 2 materials per piece, we have to compare it to stone and see if stone can give us better properties. And it seems in this case it cannot. I think we'll have to make a little test here with the 2-meter barrels and see basically what distance we can have them at. So this ain't safe, but if we have one applique, it should be absolutely safe. Now we just want to compare. Yeah. But what if it's the other way around? I think it will blow up. It will. So it needs to be a bit away from the detonation. So if we have it in the middle then. Yeah, works. And from that works too. So 3 meters here and 1, 2, 3, actually 4 there. I would think then that this is the closest distance we can have it for these guys. Since they have higher armor, I think this one will do better with another type of configuration. We're going to just copy a little section here as a little test copy and keep it there. And we're gonna have this shield to the uttermost part there. So closer than this won't work. We're just going to test and confirm that. This is like the max closeness. Yeah, definitely. Test from this side again. Definitely. Wow, okay. If we instead swap this with stone, do we have another result? Stone costs as much as this applique panel. Stone is actually worse than applique in this case. However, I think that if you put stone towards the block like this... No, that didn't work either. Actually, repair, thank you. But if you do it like that, okay, that works. Obviously. But I thought that more... Oh, it only... Like, it has more health points, but how many health points? 500... This has 200. So the armor class difference is all the difference. Let's test like this then. Ooh, that almost got destroyed. But you are getting in my way a little bit here. Testing areas. Just gonna add this little blast shield. And now when we shoot this thing, yeah, that doesn't get hurt, of course. All right. If we check the health here, 45, 15. So applique panel is actually just better. Begs the question, can we use it even closer? For applique, the answer is yes. For stone, the answer is no. All right. Let's see if we can have it even one block closer. Oh yeah, we can. We're still at 100%, so we're still doing full damage. And even one closer? No, we can't. Then I'm wondering, if we're placing this one here, we have double applique like this. Let's repair this, maybe I forgot that. That works absolutely fine. Cool. Removing this won't do it. Nope. So then I wonder, if I have it in the middle here, one free space there, one free space there. Repair all, detonate. Like that. Okay, that's like the most narrow thing we can have. This is pretty interesting, because then I'm thinking we could most likely have a fuel box in the middle, maybe. And we can like detonate that, okay. Oh, and the fire might, yeah, this might not be the best way to store them. Maybe store them at different locations. Worth a try. But having free space like this should be decent. Doing these tests, I'm just came up with perhaps an ammo Tetris idea, which I'm definitely going to test build. See if it works. Ladies and gentlemen, will this work? I don't know. Ooh. Oh no. All right, that's this is you know, I think it can work on a lower percentage area pretty reliably, but definitely not full percentage if you have many. We really found like the threshold. This takes some time to make him chain react. Yeah, so the thing is though, here we found a method of defend decently well. But the thing is, can we have anything better than this block that lets us place ammo boxes closer? Or not closer, but like actually, is there something that costs similar that is better? It's probably a more interesting thing to check. So each of these panels costs 4 material. So we have a budget of 8 materials to work with. Having some distance from the explosion is of course a wise thing to have. But for the test of it, what if we have like wood? Just like, this is 8 material. It's a little bit taller, yes, but it doesn't work because they take full damage. And the same would be like stone, of course. If we have 2 stone at one of them and blow this up, it actually works. Interesting. So if we have it like that, it doesn't work. So this is really interesting. Explosives deal more damage from where they originate, and then they kind of decrease further away, the further away you are. So that's interesting to see that we can have stone, but then we need to have both of the stone blocks over there. Same would probably be true with a plick, but in this case it probably works on both ways because it's better. I found, however, we have too little margin right now, the blocks we're working with. So we obviously need to look at new blocks. This one costs 10 material. So when we place this, we're already over budget. It works fine, however, there and there. It's even possible that it might work perfectly okay if we do it like this. Yeah. It can take like full damage, almost. Probably is because it wasn't exactly at max health. I wonder then, just as a little offshoot, what happens if we do a classic checkerboard? I did a lot of these checkerboards for ammo before. Did all that. So if we just have a little like that. Each individual explosion would then be a little bit smaller, which possibly could lead to some more resistant results. Is that okay? No, it's not. Okay, like that. Anyways, if we blow this up, what happens? Seems to be working pretty fine, to be honest. We're at full. Yeah. This is a fine way to set up your ammo, but it will chain react after a while, so that's good to keep in mind, that you may not want to use that because of that reason. Anyways, thing is with metal, you can part it up here. So we have this thing, which is 5 materials. So of course we're over budget if we do it like this, but potentially that's something I want to test too. All right. So if we just have one of them, then that doesn't work. But I'm a little bit curious to see the damage dealt towards this block. So we're gonna test at a longer distance, because here is probably gonna work. If we shoot at this, then it takes how many percent? It has 33 left. Let's see if it cares about the angle then. It doesn't. It seems to not, at least. Also, equally, if we shoot on this one here, is that the same? Let's try a higher one. I want to know if this little air gap kind of counts as some kind of damage reduction for the explosion. It completely dies, so probably not. And of course we get the same results there. No, I don't think it does. I think it does. I think we'll need to try that with heavy armor in that case. This might be one of my contending blocks. Health is 51. And if we do like that, whoops. Health is also 51. Okay, good. It doesn't matter. Not in our tests at least. But by all means, do your own tests and check it out as well. Anyhow, back to this little thing here. We're already over budget, of course, but if we place this here, we are placing 10 materials. We can prevent a chain reaction reliably at a higher cost, however, which is not great. So this is objectively not as good then. However, we do have these here, the squares. They may not be super big, but if we have several of them, I think this could be a pretty cheap way, because these squares costs, oh, no. 8, 9. Oh yeah, actually, that works. 9.5. Now we are slightly 9.5. Wait, no, we had 8 materials to spend, so that ain't right. We'll need to remove the middle one then we have a cheaper design at 5 materials. Yeah, definitely. No, I can't do math apparently. So this is obviously, it's 2 per, and we have 3 of them, so it's 6, 7.5. So this is cheaper than 8, just a little bit cheaper, if we have 3 of them. 2 of them obviously doesn't work, but would be a good idea to try. So this can potentially be a better armor here. It has lower cost than the Applic setup. However, since those have higher health points, it might be possible to do a better setup with the Applic panel in the middle like this. That could actually be a pretty good way, but it seems that this block is almost dead. 29% health compared to 2%. All right, it seems to be better. Let's try that again just for the sake of it. No, you. 1%. Oh yeah, it almost dies. So this is probably... That's of course a lot more expensive. This is like 4 materials extra now. 4, and this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now we're actually a little bit 1 material over the budget, but I think this is generally better design. Interesting to come out with these different ways though. We can of course have other type of 2 meters than this. They have the same cost, it doesn't really matter that much. I'm not even sure the ones that are 1.5. I think they're only like visually larger. I don't think they are really larger. Now we don't have infinite blocks left to test, of course. Here I just wanted to show you that I was just a little bit curious if they basically worked as blast shields, and it seems that they actually do. If you wanted to know that. They work as blast shields, so yeah. We are now going to move over to heavy armor. Applic is a good contender. Lead is of course too expensive to even consider, and obviously it's not the best to use in this case. Now, ERA shouldn't be a good contender considering the cost and everything like that, but I feel like we should do a little test with it. It's not decided, it's not meant to deal with this type of damage. So yeah, nah, of course not. You never know. That's why we do these testing videos. So the square and the corner, they are the the same health. I actually think that they cover the same like hitbox. So I'm just going to test that. We can blow up one of those point blank. Oh damn. I think we had some interference there. Just need to close our friends off a little bit. Okay, we obviously need to close our friends off a little more. We're okay. Bam and bam. Looking at the health. 51, 51, oh, 52. That's so little difference. I don't think it matters very much. However, I think it's the same. Let's do that again. You blow up, you blow up. 51, 52. Huh. Maybe it actually does provide some bonus then. 51. It's very small. So I don't know why it would be. It can still be chance. If we do test this again, it's 52. And if we swap this one, it's very interesting. This one is at 50. Okay, it's just chance. Okay, good. They're the exact same. However, what if they introduced some kind of update that actually made the ammo check for like area of coverage? So I think we might as well use this portion to divide it up. Of course, heavy armor, as you can see here, can be pretty strong. The thing is, however, that these little guys, they have the slight cost of 12 materials. And then we can actually have this system here, which is a lot cheaper. Everything in numbers, you know. But honestly, considering that this takes up so much space, it's probably not worth it. It seems that for the 2-meter ammo block, the only reasonable block to use here is probably this one. Now, I should be just doing some copying here, and we can confirm this or not by seeing if we can do some type of Tetris using this. Some ammo Tetris. Very nice. All right. Let the game begin. Blown up one there. What if we do like this blows up and then all of these? Oh, damn. Then they can chain react like this. That is unfortunate. It doesn't work if we have this many ammo at the same place. By the way, you should never have this much ammo at the same place. Just saying. I'm just gonna try and switch it out, doubling the health here. But what would be more beneficial is, of course, spreading these out. I do not recommend making this type of field for ammunition, as I've done here. But I want to, in the end of this little video, I want to be able to find a reliable way which we can stack ammunition on. I already have one of those templates actually, so we're gonna see if that works still or if it needs an update. All right, let's get our impact test tool, or just kill thing. And that one just caused some damage. That's interesting. It kind of died in the middle there. That explodes there, and if we then detonate like that, so okay, they can still chain react doing this. And obviously spending 50 material for each of these is not something you would do. No, that just won't do it. So spreading out the ammunition is, as suspected, probably the best way to do it. Having a like compact type of Tetris or a checkerboard system is probably only worth it if you are opting for a design that doesn't go around with full materials, because then it can work pretty decently. I don't know if we have it still here. We do. If you know, and that one goes, and that one goes, and this one goes, and it takes like a while, if all, for them to chain react. Yeah. I think maybe we should do a little ammo barrel of that thing. That could look fun. Anyways, that testing is indeed very interesting. The damage can be mitigated a lot by having just a little blast shield around the other components. I think we should test a little bit. I should load in my prefab actually. There it is. Ammo box stackable barrel. So it's nothing fancy. It's just a little ammo tube consisting of, well, 2x4, how to say? Let me show you. This is it. We have a heavy armor, half beams, top and bottom. We have 2 ammo boxes in the middle, and we have metal around it. These guys work not so much if you place them stacked like this. I think I remember they kind of have risk of chain reacting. They do, however, work when stacked on top of each other like this in tubes. They of course have a cost to them. They cost 400 materials almost, so it's not optimal. Of that material, only 80 is these. So that's the downside of using a lot of armor to defend your ammunition. It works pretty well though, of course. We can't lose ammo like that, so, you know. Right. Bam. Bam. So that one, hey, they didn't chain react. That's crazy. I kind of thought they would. Yeah. Seems okay. All right, now to this version. Goes down like this. And it should be pretty impossible to kill this thing. Yeah. Good to know in any case. So they are still working. They are fine. A little bit over armored, I feel like. I wonder if we can do like this. If we do armor refit and change metal to like alloy. Will these still work? Like these ones should serial react, right? They kind of don't. So we might as well use alloy for that too then. Okay. Guess we're having a little bit of an advantage when we're using metal anyways, but yeah. Setting that off fire, obviously, we have the same type of setup. Because in this case, the heavy armor, the double heavy armor ones are defending. Now is the question, I want to make some kind of ammo barrel that probably based on this little system that has a low potential to chain react and also looks decent. But I'm a little bit on top of those barrels. I'm not sure. If we want to make them stackable, we can probably not. What if we have this as a kind of template also then? Just spawning some ideas. Oh no, this is wrong. All right, so I tried stacking them a little bit. It's absolutely catastrophical. This won't do it. I accidentally started to deco build instead. Don't judge me. All right, so yeah, I've been deco building for a while, and we found some new cool designs, mostly cool visual designs, but I found one more usable design. It turns out that my original blueprint, the stackable barrel, is actually a pretty good design. It works darn well, if I can say so. If we just spawn this old barrel here, you can see this one is at 380 materials. So it ain't cheap, but it's all right. We're using some half heavy armor there. Thus we can stack it, even if it's pretty full and stuff like that. So like that's pretty nice. And when we try to detonate this thing, it doesn't chain react. So it's pretty safe against that type of damage, which is really handy. Now, I managed to make a better version, or a lighter version at least, which works pretty decent too. So if we just check that out, it's a little bit cheaper. I saved it in the prefabs, and it basically uses just Tetra heavy armor here. And then we have these beams running around, making it lighter. And, goddammit, I think From the Depth sound engine is about to break. It doesn't chain react either. Actually, I think I'm going to try and see if I can lighten it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Let's check out these decos though. So these are actually just a plick surrounded. I thought it looked kind of a little bit like shells, and I just went loose. So here is a stackable design for an ammo barrel that won't chain react actually. It will, of course, be very volatile. I think it can chain react eventually, but it's like actual ammo shells like this, so I think it looks pretty cool. I like it a lot. And I just have some simple barrels like this, which are covered in applique panels like this, except this one, which has these one on the floor so we can stand on them. So it's kind of in the air, surrounded by applique, back, forth, all directions. Can be a nice little deco thing to add there, basically. Yeah, I just realized that the materials I'll save on make this lighter is not gonna be enough, and it will come with the cost of it looking pretty jank. So it's actually best as it is. Like, honestly, these parts are not actually necessary. So I think it's like good enough. We don't need to be that nitpicky. So yeah, then we found some new designs for storing ammunition. We know what causes them to deal more damage when exploding or not. It can be good to have templates that can stand a straight hit with damage. Checkerboard is not your friend. Surrounding things in boxes work pretty well. But since we do want to use those a little bit larger ammo boxes, keeping them here in these types of boxes work actually pretty well. So that's good results and stuff to keep in mind. We can surround it on the sides with alloy or metal, but if we want them to not detonate each other, we'll need some heavy armor, or we need a plick and some distance. Armor class for the block that is separating the detonations seems to be the absolutely most important metric. I managed to make this little variant as well. So it really tries to save cost, and that won't precisely work actually. This version is the one that is working. I forgot that. So this one we should save over is the ultralight stackable barrel 200 ammo. So if you load this one, you will notice that 2D stacked or stored ammunitions, it's only 200, which means that this unit is actually not better. Let me see here. Oh, it's the wrong one. All right, there we have it. This is the right one. So you will notice it costs 230 materials, which is of course a little bit more than the one we can have in the light, which is 330. So we halve the amount of ammo, but the good side with this is that if we use full metal blocks, then it kind of works and it won't chain react. So if I'll just put some of these here, you can see that we can detonate it from the top and it won't chain react there. We can detonate from the side, won't chain react there. Not cost efficient, but if you do it this way, you can actually have them even lighter and not have any heavy armor, which is kind of useful, I think. All right, I had to do a little bit more min-maxing, of course. I found another ammo box design, which I'm pretty happy about. I kind of thought it looked a little bit like our Vigoletta turret systems. So that's the company we're branding it under. So Vigoletta Inc. ammo box. So it is a larger ammo box. I felt I wanted some for bigger ships. And this thing is really fun. Okay, we're just going to refill materials here and stuff. By the way, for this ammo barrel, I tried to have plick panels. It didn't work very well. If you explode here on the side, they sometimes chain react like that. The alloy part works, the plick part does not. So just so you know, so you don't get confused by earlier result. We really need that full metal slab, not half slab like this one, full metal slab. This one didn't chain react now, but they might as well chain react anytime. That's actually full ones, never mind. The one on top was the wrong type. In any case, we're looking at this, and you can see when we spawn this system here, it's pretty funny. Because if we remove the blocks here, you can see on this side, we have this heavy armor block. It's almost a full beam. And on this side, it's acceptable to have the half beam. I tested half beams on all sides, but it chain reacted sometimes. So then I thought, what if I have half beams on one side and like corner these beams on other sides? So the top is thick, the bottom is narrow. And this is really crazy. So you probably get what I'm going at here. You can't turn this around. You'll have to keep it the same orientation. But if you do that, they actually don't chain react. We kind of found some kind of golden little exactness rule there. So there you can see no chain reaction. Straight from the side there, no chain reaction. This is the sweet spot. So I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, okay, let's recap a little bit. All right, so to begin, ammo storages will create an explosion when they are destroyed. If the ammo storage that you're having on a vehicle, if that vehicle has 100% of its storage full, it will deal full damage. And the full damage for 1 square meter of ammo storage blocks is usually then, if we're at 100, it's going to be 4,751. The damage scales down a little bit, so if you choose the larger boxes, they're going to deal less damage per square meter. However, the blast radius will be larger, so it will basically be the same, and in our tests we can see that the effective damage is basically worse when you choose the large blocks for unarmored targets like that. In any case, using the larger blocks is probably a good idea anyways, because they're not as volatile to like very small damage. They are a little bit sturdy. Fuel boxes are very overhyped. They don't cause that many damage. You have no reason to use checkerboard for fuel. They actually work better when in a contained tank. That contained tank can be anything that's not fuel flammable. Stone, of course, works amazing, but if you want to be light, alloy is fine. No reason to spend on metal for storing fuel, because stone does it as well for a cheaper cost at a similar price point, and alloy does it, or for a cheaper price point, and alloy does it good enough for the same price point but lighter. So yeah, for ships, you probably, on planes, for most vehicles, the most realistic thing to store fuel in is actually alloy, surprisingly enough. As for ammunition, alloy works pretty decently. Metal is of course better. Having them checkerboard doesn't help very much at all. It's probably just a waste of blocks. What we want to do instead is to have them either secured with a plick so that they don't chain react as easily, like here, or we want to have it protected with some heavy armor or heavy armored blocks, like this type of ammo system, creating a, well, not creating a chain reaction. We can also use a 2-meter one and put it in a network with a plick blocks, and they will not chain react either. This is very useful if you're having a lighter, smaller build that doesn't need that much ammunition. Right, a plick and heavy armor works the best to stop the ammunition blast. Stone is not as efficient as doing this. A plick is pretty decent. Chain reactions can be nasty, so it's a good idea to spread out your ammo real well. This one uses a plick, but we removed some of the block with mimics. This works perfectly fine. A plick is great, but you'll need a specific distance of 3 meters if you have a plick on both sides of the block. The detonations don't tend to climb around very much. It's rather pretty bound to a straight line, so having blast shields like this, it's the same for ammo. We have a block in front of it, side of it, stuff like that. Well, the explosions don't do any funny business. Also, that said about the material storage, if you have like 10% of the material storage you are capable of carrying, so say this vehicle is able to carry 70,000, say we only have 7,000 inside of here, and that's obviously set up using this menu here, decide the amount of material to keep. If we set it up to 10%, it's the ammo boxes and the fuel boxes, they're basically going to cause 10% of the havoc they would otherwise. So a cargo ship that's not very loaded has ammo boxes that are extremely non-volatile. They basically don't blow up at all. They're very safe, and the ammo should be kept apart anyways, of course, but the explosion that they cause when the vehicle has a lower percentage is minuscule. Basically, it doesn't matter. And I think that's most of the things we covered there. Intensity is the same. However, one thing is that if we look at these bars here, we are obviously having some different stats. The percentage of material stored on your vehicle, it's only the percentages. It doesn't matter how much or how little you have. If you have like not very much left at all, like no, you can see that the explosive damage is 0 and the intensity is of course 20, but the fire created is 0 for this vehicle. So you can see this is like 0 damage. And on this one that has full, we have the max damage 475 if we fill it up 1. And there we have 2000 fire when destroyed. And that will of course blow up too. So that is the metrics, that's how it works. And to prevent explosions from those ammo, well, armor is our friend here. So that is how it works. We finally solved this and found the solution to all the questions we had about material storage and, well, ammo and fuel, basically, mostly ammo and fuel. One thing that's not the thing in the game though that I would want is that when batteries get destroyed, kind of an EMP surge would be created. I would like that. And we created some amazing prefabs in the process. I must say I'm a big fan of the 2000mm chain cram stackable. I made a cool name for it too. It's chain cram stackable ammo belt shells, which makes a lot of sense. It's not that cool. It's very explanatory what it is. But yeah, looking pretty nice. Anyways, hopefully that was useful information. Please tell me if this was to your enjoyment or Well, if you didn't watch this video, you need to say anything, because then I know by, your viewers, I suppose. But if this was interesting to you, please tell me so that I know I can continue doing this type of very detailed testing videos. Well, it obviously takes some time to make them, so it would be good to know. Anyways, I think I got some really good results from this anyways, so it was very useful and hope it was for you too. You should definitely tune into our Discord if you haven't already, and on the Gmodism channel we have some extra content. This is your host Eric of Gmodism, and we're signing out from a very nice little testing session. Well, see you, bye.